Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Sauce. It's the backup channel backing Celeb up and bringing you all the breaking news. Check this out. Although it's been 5 years since the death of the Queen of Soul Aretha Franklin, her family is still battling back and forth over her estate. This is partly due to the fact that Aretha hid multiple handwritten wills in her home before she passed away. The first will dated back to 2010 and found in a cabinet, named her son Ted White and Franklin's niece Sabrina Owens as the executors of her will, with a contingency put in place for the two of them to take business classes and get a certificate or degree before they can receive any benefits from the estate. The second will, however, which was dated back to 2014 and found between the couch cushions, has White's name removed and instead names her son Keke Franklin as executor and has no mention of business classes. The 2014 will also leaves Aretha Franklin's main home, which was valued at $1.1 million at the time of her passing, to Keke and his grandchildren. Now, this seems like it would be a pretty open and shut case, because the most recent version of the will should trump the first one. However, it's not that simple, because the 2010 will is notarized and signed, whereas the 2014 will is not. Due to this and other facts, 3 of Aretha's sons, Ted White, Keke Franklin, and Edward Franklin, are headed to court this week to determine exactly who will be the decision maker when it comes to their mother's estate. When discussing the wills, the attorney for Keke said, quote, "Two inconsistent wills cannot both be admitted to probate. In such cases, the most recent will revokes the previous will," end quote. However, White's attorney said, quote, "If this document were intended to be a will, there would have been more care than putting it in a spiral notebook under a couch cushion," end quote. Listen, the only way that Aretha Franklin could have made this will business any harder is if she wrote those wills down on an Etch-a-Sketch. Look, this is tough, because do you go with the older will that's notarized and has the signature, or do you go with the newer will, knowing that she made some significant changes and she specifically wanted Ted White cut out? Listen, let me know what you think in the comments. Would you go with the 2010 will, or would you go with the 2014 will? Let me know what you think. Now, as you know, Keke Palmer's baby daddy, Darius Jackson, sparked a heated debate online after he saw his baby mama, Keke Palmer, being serenaded by Usher while she was sporting a sheer dress with a form-fitted body leotard underneath that showed off them cheeks. After seeing his woman getting up close and personal with Usher, he jumped online and wrote, quote, "It's the outfit though, you a mom," end quote. And then after that, he doubled down and wrote, quote, "We live in a generation where a man of the family doesn't want the wife and mother of his kids to showcase booty cheeks to please others, and he gets told how much of a hater he is. This is my family and my representation. I have standards and morals to what I believe. I rest my case," end quote. Well, after he made that post, mad people on the internet rallied behind Keke Palmer and read this dude for filth. Some people even went as far as to call him a hypocrite, because 1, he's Mr. Traditional, but he never put a ring on it. 2, he's the same dude that videotaped Keke bouncing and backing that thing up in a skin-tight leopard bodysuit while boasting about his woman's body for the entire internet to see. 3, he doesn't seem to be employed. And 4, his ex claims that he forced her to terminate her pregnancy just 3 weeks before going public with Keke. Well, now a whole bunch of people on the internet have now labeled this dude a hobosexual. And if you don't know what a hobosexual means, let me tell you. A hobosexual is a person who jumps into relationships just to have a place to live. Listen, I don't know this dude, but what I do know is he put his in-house business all on the internet because he got all up in his feelings when he saw his woman being serenaded by Usher. And I mean, that is not a good look, and it just shows that he's a little immature and insecure. And it also shows that he doesn't really understand Keke's business, because if he did, he would have acted like Jay-Z and Offset, and he'd have looked at his woman in that leotard and kept his mouth shut, because he would have understood that that is part of her biz and that is how she gets the check. And if he really had a problem with it, he could have spoke to her behind the scenes when she got home. And he also needs to understand that as a man, he can't be all up on the internet trying to objectify her body and then get salty when she's feeling good in her own skin. That is crazy. But listen, let me know what you think about Keke Palmer's baby daddy. Do you think that he's a hobosexual? Let me know what you think in the comments. And while you're down there leaving a comment, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Now, peep this. The other day, Drake was doing his concert, and he had to pause his concert because somebody in the audience decided to throw their cell phone at Drake, and it hit him in the arm, and he had to stop and regroup himself. Listen, why in the world are you throwing your cell phones up on the stage? That is dangerous. And when the concert's done, you can't call nobody. What in the world are you doing? Listen, stop throwing phones at Drake. Don't you understand that Drake is America's light-skinned treasure? Now, check it out. A whole bunch of media outlets have posted stories that say that Wendy Williams' son, Kevin Hunter Jr., is taking advantage of his mom's, and that he charged $100K to her American Express card in 2021, causing Wells Fargo to freeze her accounts. Well, now, Kevin Hunter Jr. wants to set the record straight, and he says there are people taking advantage of his mom's, but it's not him. Kevin says that the only reason he put $100,000 on his mom's Amex was to pay for her expenses such as doctor's appointments and private planes to and from New York. In an exclusive interview, Kevin said, quote, "I had to look for ways to transport her. If we had to get to an appointment up there in New York, we would have to book a private plane. If we had to make a certain appointment down here in Florida, we had to book it on Amex." In court, they brought up the American Express situation. They made this a much bigger issue. When she was here, the American Express card was the only source of paying for things. End quote. Hunter Jr. also said that his mother knew how much and how often he was using the American Express, and he also said, quote, "And what she would do was she would read the credit card statement at the end of the month, and I never took advantage of it." End quote. Listen, this is what's strange to me, and tell me if I'm wrong. If I use my parents' American Express card, and they were fine with it, right? And then people were like, yo, you're ripping off your parents all over social media and the internet and everywhere else. And my parents' bank account got shut down because the bank thought that I was taking advantage of my parents. My parent would simply say, I gave my kid permission to use the Amex card. And I mean, I understand that Wendy's going through it and she's not always as coherent as she used to be. However, there have been times since 2021 when I have seen Wendy talking and she has been coherent enough to make a simple statement. So, if she gave him permission, Wendy could easily say, I gave my son permission. But I have yet to hear Wendy say that. Have any of you heard Wendy say that? Let me know in the comments. Listen, let me know whether or not you think Kevin Hunter Jr. is telling the truth. Or do you think this kid is trying to take advantage of his mother? Let me know what you think in the comments. And yo, really quick before I go, I was looking through YouTube the other day and I came across this video of these dudes in a barber shop. And I'm watching it and I'm like, I don't know if I would feel comfortable with my man getting his hair cut in this barber shop. Listen, take a look at this clip and tell me, 1, if you're a dude, would you go to this barber shop? And 2, if you're a woman, would you feel comfortable with your man getting his hair done in this barber shop? Check this out. Yo, there is way too much going on in that shop. Listen, let me know what you think about the dudes in the barber shop. And hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Sauce, your source for celebrity news. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.